Hi Nada.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thank you so much for talking to me today. I'm just gonna ask you a few questions, all right? All right. Now, let's start at the beginning. When did you start drumming and what inspired you?
I started, I think July 8th, exactly 2 years ago. So by the time this is out, that might be 2 years on the dot. And what had inspired me, well, drums have always been my favorite instrument, but what made me actually pick it up is, ironically enough, going to a concert of a band that I liked at the time that I kind of hate now, but they have a great drummer, Sleep Token. Don't like them anymore, but they have an insane drummer. I went to a concert, and after that concert I was like, I have to pick up the drums, I have no option. So that was around like 2.5 years ago, and 2 years ago I did it.
Okay, wow, awesome. We have to get you up on the Wall of Fame.
I've been here for a year. So I started for a year on my own, and then I joined here for a year. So 1 more year until the Wall of Fame.
We'll get you up there, girl. Did you have any musical background before joining the studio?
Yes, informal vocals. So I've been in a couple of choirs like growing up. I'm currently in a choir, but not at a professional level at all. So vocals, I tried the guitar, really hated it, but mostly vocals, yeah.
What did you not like about the guitar, just out of curiosity?
I think I liked the concept of being someone who plays the guitar, but I hated the learning process from the start, which is absolutely the opposite of the experience of, well, I don't hate the concept of being a drummer, but I do love the learning process, so.
Okay, cool. What were your expectations when you first walked in?
Yeah, I was thinking about that question, like, what was I expecting a year ago? I think I was expecting, well, normally like to be asked like, what do you like and what kind of drumming do you want to do? But I was expecting, everyone goes through the same book basically. Like I'm just gonna get a bunch of exercises and it's gonna be the same steps that everyone's taken. It was way more like personalized and free and creative and collaborative even with my teacher, how the first lesson went, and then the next lessons followed suit, and it was pretty much like very tailored to how I learn, how I was taught. So shout out Fernando.
Yes, Fernando. Okay, cool. Do you remember your first lesson and what stood out to you? So I know you kind of just went over that, but like what would you say the personalization of it is what stood out for you the most? Or
yes,
was there something else?
I kind of studied up before coming on like, okay, I made a playlist of what are my absolute goals, like blue sky, I'm at my end goal, what kind of drummer do I want to be? Then I made a more realistic playlist of like, what do I think I could work up to in like a few months to a year? And Fernando was like, what kind of music do you like? And I was like, can I show you 2 very long playlists? And we sort of talked through it and what about each style I like. And then through that, like, we made a few exercises to sort of, well, I say we, Fernando created a few exercises sort of on the spot to assess where I am in terms of like coordination, independence, where my ear is at. And then I learned a few things, so it wasn't just like a placement test, it was also a lesson. And it was very fun. It wasn't like just do this beat at this tempo. It was let's play this groove of this song that is on your playlist that you like. Let's see how comfortable you are with doing it at like half tempo, or how you were able to pick up like the kick drum, for example. Can you tell that apart from like the tom or something? So it was very much like kind of assessing where I am, kind of assessing how much I'd enjoy learning these things. A lot of the things I thought I'd like to learn, then I was like, I don't actually like to learn this one. I actually would enjoy something more like this. So it was very far from what I expected. I really liked it.
Okay, awesome. What has surprised you the most about learning drums as an adult?
That you can do it. Like I did, obviously I thought it wasn't impossible, otherwise I wouldn't have done it, but in my head I was like, okay, maybe I can get good up to a certain point, maybe I can play like a basic rock beat, but I think it might be a little late for me to be like a metal drummer to the stage that I want to be, because all these drummers were really cool and looked up to started when they were very small children. But no, I have like surprised myself and picked up things much faster than I thought I would. And I've also met a lot of students who've also experienced the same like feelings about this. So it is actually not too late. I know people say that and it's kind of a cliche, but really when you know it in your body, it's different from just like intellectually knowing it. Like, oh, I can actually develop new like brain connections that make this possible as an adult. Like there's no end stage to learning. So that was a huge breakthrough just mentally.
Yeah, totally. Okay, nice. And how has your experience been connecting with other drummers?
That might be my favorite part
about
learning the drums, and that is saying a lot because I enjoy a lot of parts about it. So I do my practices on a different day than my lessons, and my lessons I pretty much come from my lessons and leave, but during my practices I intersect with a lot of people who are like either also practicing or teachers on break or just like, you know, people who are early or late to leave. So I've had a lot of cool conversations with people that have actually sparked friendships. And that's just like me being a social person, but there's also the social stuff at the studio, like Dramayoki, like the women's group, like the socials that happen, and I've managed to make a lot of friends. Just like personally we get along, but also I've managed to make a lot of like drum buddies that we're learning stuff together and like comparing notes and like stuff like that. So I think it's this space makes it conducive to connecting to other people. So it hasn't taken a lot of work on my part to connect, but I've managed to connect with, I think, most teachers and a lot of students.
Okay,
here.
Love that. And for you specifically, I know you have a lot, like a lot of other things going on, but how do you balance learning drums with your daily responsibilities?
Not well. Not well. Yeah, I saw this question and I was like, how do I not give off the impression that you can't pick up drumming if you have a busy life? Because you can, but I'm personally very intense about things I like, and drumming has been like my favorite thing since picking it up, so I've been extra intense about it. Like I've been known to like call in sick for a week to just come to the studio every day, like twice before.
We'll cut that part.
I don't think anyone from like my PhD program is watching this, I hope. But yeah, like I'll just do stuff like that. You don't need to do that to learn the drums, but I just get quite intense about it.
Yeah, you care about it.
I've prioritized something that's like a hobby over my, you know, main quests in life, but I don't regret it. I like it. So yeah. I'm learning how to balance. I haven't reached the part where it's a balance yet, but
I feel like it's also not a one-size-fits-all thing.
Yeah.
So like, and sometimes it's probably really nice to switch around your priorities a little bit where you can, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely. So I know we talked a little bit about this before, but how would you describe the atmosphere at the studio?
I think it's very friendly. It's very supportive. I have not met a single person who hasn't been super happy to be spoken to, and like people want to know, like, who are you? Are you a student? Are you a teacher? Like, how long have you been here? What kind of styles do you like? What kind of music do you like? Like, people are here because they're music nerds, right? Like, music nerds like meeting other music nerds. And can I tell a small story?
Of course.
Let's show
Please.
how supportive this atmosphere is. So there was a week where I was just like really not doing well just in general in the winter, and I was just like coming here every morning to practice just because people were away for Christmas and the studio was bookable every morning, so I was coming in and I was trying to get past like I think 120 BPM on the double kick, and it was not going anywhere, like not a single BPM. And Alex, who I keep forgetting his last name, but shout out Alex, was here and he saw I was upset and he was like, what's up? And I'm like, look, I think I suck and maybe I should quit. And then he said, there are very few choices in life that actually are like a fork in the road. Like how you deal with this is gonna determine one of a few outcomes. Many are like multifactorial, but how you deal with this feeling right now is actually where you end up. A musician or someone who tried to pick up the drums and dropped it after some time. Like, this is not a feeling that's unique to you. Everyone goes through it. And like, this is your time. Like, this is your time to choose how you're gonna deal with this. And I was like, you know what? That's true. Like, I don't have to fix the problem today, which is get beyond 120 BPM, but I have to make the choice today of like, is this the plateau that kind of ends drumming for me? Like, I had that with guitar. I don't regret dropping the guitar. I learned that that's not something I'm interested in. But yeah, a choice I make today is either gonna be like, all right, this is the weird month where I can't get past this BPM, and eventually I make it, or this is the month where I drop drums. And then I decided, okay, now the task is much smaller. The task is just make a decision, and it worked. Like, and you know, had Alex not been here, would I have quit? I don't know if it's that dramatic, but it's like that's just sort of the experience of just being around people who want you to succeed. And I've experienced that quite a few times here, even though I've just been here for a year. So very supportive, very friendly atmosphere.
Okay, very nice. Thank you for sharing that story. Has drumming had any impact on your life outside of the studio?
Yes. Social life, very much. So one of the teachers here, Phil, actually is one of the organizers of the shed.mtl, shout out, where I've met a lot of drummers who are not in the studio. So I've made friends outside of the studio because I've made friends in the studio, so that's kind of cool. And just in general, just learning the drums has taught me that I can learn things at different stages in life, that I can divide difficult tasks into smaller tasks, like today we just make a decision to get through this feeling of frustration, and then tomorrow we get through the actual frustrating task. And I've managed to translate that into other aspects of my life. But also, just like teaching your brain how to do difficult coordination things, it just makes you smarter. Like I've gotten better at problem solving. It's gotten me a lot more comfortable with difficult problems, like in my research, which is the main thing I do in life. And it's gotten me a lot more comfortable with like maybe shame, like first time you perform, first time you make a mistake in front of people, first time you make a mistake in front of people you're trying to impress, like being in situations that I don't think I would have been in otherwise. So I feel like it's helped me grow into like the person I want to be in my late 20s. It's a little dramatic, but
no, not at all.
But I have a very like romantic view of playing the drums.
That's amazing. You're allowed to romanticize your life. You should. This actually leads into my next question. What's been your proudest moment so far?
My proudest moment was actually at the Shed. It's the first time I went. So the Shed is just a place where you play like solos, like you trade solos with different drummers, which is really difficult. And like for a beginner, soloing is not a skill I have yet, but I wanted to try it, and I went there. I ate shit. Like I absolutely ate shit. I also tripped on a monitor and fell in front of everyone. It was so embarrassing. I came home and I was like, I'm never showing my face there again. And also like, that's not typically how it goes, but that one day there was no other women there. So I was like, I also set women back like a couple decades with this move. So I just was carrying like a lot of shame and embarrassment. And then I was like, you know what? It's only up from here, like literally that was worst case scenario, so I might as well just go back. And I went back, and it's not like, oh, I played the sickest solo the next time. Like I still can't solo. It's been a few months. It is a really difficult thing to do, but one of those times I managed to play a solo. It wasn't the coolest thing, but it was a pretty good solo for a beginner. And someone actually was like, hell yeah. So I was like, you know what, I'm proud, not because I played that solo, but I'm proud because I handled failure and embarrassment and shame like a competent adult. And I kept going, and I made friends there, and like now I have drummer friends who are cool, I get to learn from, and I would have not had that at all had I just been like, this sucks, I'm gonna protect my ego and sit at home. So
yeah, exactly. And I feel like showing up and falling flat on your face is absolutely a rite of passage.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do that, or else you're just not, like, friction is what will make you grow as a drummer and as anything in life. So
yeah,
put yourself in very friction heavy situations.
What kind of music do you think shaped your sense of rhythm the most, even outside of drums?
So the stuff I listen to the most is metal, like different styles of metal. But I grew up in Lebanon, spent most of my life there. So I was surrounded by a lot of like Middle Eastern, North African rhythms, and I catch that coming back and like influencing the way I play drums. And, like my teacher Fernando plays a lot of Latin beats, so I catch a lot of similarities there. I'm like, oh, this is similar to like Egyptian wedding music. So I'd say the surprising thing that I've caught as like being this little hidden influence is like Middle Eastern, North African dance music specifically.
Okay, that's super cool. It must be really cool to like kind of make a fusion of the both of them too. Yeah, definitely. Has your taste in drummers changed since you started playing more seriously?
Yes. So at first I was like, okay, the most technical drummers are the best. Like the most technical metal drummers who can play the fastest, most complex beats, the most polyrhythms, whatever. Now I really appreciate people who can improvise, and not just like improvise technical, difficult stuff, but improvise like tasteful musical stuff. I've been really into a lot of like hip hop or like jazz fusion, hip hop drumming lately. People who can improvise not just solos, but just like improvise with other musicians they've never met. Like I go to jams a lot these days, and that's where I get to see like drummers really shine.
Yeah. Super cool. And when you get stuck on something, what usually kind of helps you break through? Is it that nugget of wisdom that Alex dropped on you, or do you have another trick for us, another hack?
So this is where like knowing what your style of learning comes in place, and I was very lucky that Fernando's style of teaching is super compatible with my style of learning. So I like learning multiple things at once. So I can't just focus on one song for a long time or just one style. I like to be learning multiple things at once. So what I would do if I was frustrated to a degree that's not motivating enough to get through a difficult thing is I'll find something that's still a little bit frustrating, a little difficult, but less. Like frustration is a spectrum, difficulty is a spectrum. What's compatible with what? I'll just do this maybe 10% less difficult thing, see myself through it, and then just like mentalize that, okay, I still can do difficult things. I haven't like reached my peak. Again, this like showing yourself in your body that you haven't peaked. Like this isn't the like drop it and go, this is as good as you'll get, but like, okay, I can overcome hurdles, but I need to tune how difficult I'm feeling to how difficult the task actually is. So learning something less difficult makes me less frustrated, and with less frustration I find that going back to the more difficult thing, then that helps. But for that to work, you have to be someone who enjoys learning multiple things at once. If you like focusing on one thing at a time, then you have to like think about how you learn the best. Otherwise this might make things worse for you. You're like, let me do another difficult thing.
Okay, yeah, that's actually really good advice. Do you think your playing is more reactive or intentional when you perform?
I think reactive, not by choice, but mostly because I haven't like performed stuff I've learned or like in a band or something. The most performance adjacent things I've done are like the shed or at a jam, so by nature it's improv. So I've sort of been put in a situation where I've had to improvise a lot more than I've had to recite, basically. So am I actually improvising, or am I like thinking about something in my head and then playing it 10 seconds later, which is technically not improvising? I don't know, but it's closer to improvising than actually like intentional.
Yeah, and it's also like very similar to what you just said. Like it's taking something and making it like 10% less difficult, and then like showing yourself like I can see this through. Yeah, girl, I see you. Looking back, is there anything that you would tell your past self before your first lesson?
In terms of, I don't think I would change anything. I don't think I approached it in like a super perfectionist way, which is how I usually approach things. I very much surprised myself with how chill I was with this. I don't know, I'd just be like excited for her. I'd be like, you have no idea the world you're about to step into. Like this is about to be your favorite part of your life so far. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And what does leveling up as a drummer look like to you?
I'm saying as if I didn't read the questions and think about them before.
There's a lot of things.
So the most direct way is like to quantify stuff, obviously. But I found that I really hate that. Like I hate being like, this is the BPM, this is the number of songs I have in my belt. It feels very much like I'm delivering to a boss, like submitting an assignment or something. And it's very like efficiency coded that I don't like that. So I now go I use more of a qualitative approach to it. Like for example, if I'm thinking about a beat just tapping on my legs in the bus, I can get home and like play it. Like I'm able to write, and I wasn't able to write before that. Or for example, if I'm listening to a song, like an intermediate difficulty rock or hip hop song on the bus, I'll get home and I can play it at full tempo. That's something I wasn't able to do before. So it's more like, what is a skill using words, not numbers, that I can now do that I couldn't do before, or something I've been able to do but now I can do it relatively with more ease or faster, but not like 10 BPM or 20 BPM faster or something like that. So it's the same thing, like just saying, oh, I play this at like 30 BPM faster, I play this relatively with more ease, but just making it a qualitative metric has just changed the way it feels, because now it's no longer like, oh, I'm delivering an outcome. It's more, I'm becoming the kind of drummer that I want to become, or closer to the kind of drummer I want to become.
Yeah, that
so
makes
it feels
total
more
sense to me.
It's about me, it's not about the product that's outside of me.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, this is my last question for you. What are your goals moving forward?
My goals moving forward are just being a band at this point.
Okay.
I think it's been long enough, and it's like something I've wanted since I was like 15. Like I have a piece in my journal from when I was 15 that's like, what is my biggest dream? I want to be in a band. And that's changed a lot. Like, what kind of band do I want to be in? At this point, I just want to make music with people.
Okay. So it doesn't matter what the genre is. Okay.
As long as it's one of the things that I like, which has grown to be more than just like metal. Yeah. Just be in a band. I want to try to get that done by the end of this year, like by December.
We believe in you, girl. It's coming. All right, well, thank you so much, beautiful Nada, for talking to me today. It was absolutely a pleasure, and I can't wait to see what's next for you.
Thank you.
Thanks, girl.